Hello, friends. I feel like my look today is very much giving. It's January, but I still wanted to be a Christmas present, but I guess it's closer to Valentine's Day, so maybe I'm a Valentine's Day present. I don't really know. My hair is just a mess right now, so I stuck in some bows, which I do all the time. So this is the look that we're going for. I am a bow. Bow over here. Bow here. I got my bow pillow behind me, okay? Today we are doing 25 books on my 2025 TBR. Now, I will say most of these are for the most part new releases that are upcoming for 2025. So it's also a little bit of a reminder of what books are coming for the year, but I do have some that are older releases that are on my high priority TBR. I'm really excited. I think 2025 has a really insane lineup of releases. I personally have so many that I am foaming at the mouth for, and I can't wait to talk about everything that's on my TBR with you guys. So that's enough for that. Let's just get right on into 25 of the many books that I have on my 2025 TBR. You guys will also be real ones and tell me if I have lipstick on my teeth, right? So right on top, we have a new release from an author that I love. I mean, this was her 2024 release, but it is Bull Moon Rising by Ruby Dixon. This is a trad published monster romance from her because the main guy is a minotaur, and this is a marriage of convenience. And those are really the only two things that I know about it. I mean, I do have the trad published beautiful hardcover too. And listen, if it's Ruby Dixon, I will be reading it. I want to read even more of the Ice Planet Barbarian books by her as well, because that's what made me fall in love with her and her writing. I've only read actually a handful of them, even though I love them so much and I kind of make them my entire personality. So Ruby is definitely a high priority author for me to explore more of her backlist in 2025. And this is her newest one, so this is the one that I really have on my top priority. Now, if there's one author that I need to apologize to, it is Miss Sade Renee, because I have said for so long that I was going to read Last Chance Cowboy, which is her follow-up, second book in her cowboy series. The first book, maybe you've heard of it if you follow me, is called Saddle Up Cowboy, and it is one of my favorite cowboy romances ever. When I read it, I made it my entire personality then and then so long after, forcing everyone to read it because it's that good and it's criminally underrated. I love Sade. She's truly one of the sweetest people, and I need to read this. Also, the main girl in it is a redhead. So this follows characters who are mentioned in Saddle Up Cowboy, but you can read it as a standalone. Again, I believe it's called Last Chance Cowboy. I think this one's also a second chance romance. I completely forgot. I have this beautiful physical copy that I got from her at a book signing. I have it on my Kindle. I put off reading this, I think, because was I prepared to read this, make it my entire personality like I did with Saddle Up Cowboy, and shove it down everyone's throats? Like, that's what's going to happen. I know it's what's going to happen again. And again, truly, out of all of the books on this list, this is a very, very high priority book for me to read. Once I am done with like arcs and stuff and like eyeball reading certain things, I need to get to this. I need to. Like, I really need to. And then quickly, this next book is actually just a sequel to the first book in this 3-book series. This is Foxglove. Foxglove? Who is Foxglove? It's Foxglove by, what is it, Adeline Grace. First book in this series is Belladonna, and the third book in this series is Wisteria. I own all of the beautiful Barnes & Noble hardcovers of this series, but I like the paperbacks too because they have these really beautiful edges, and I just love the color story and the covers of these books. Belladonna, I thought was a really great kind of murder mystery. I love the aesthetics of it. This sequel, Foxglove, is a direct follow-up to Belladonna. Then I know the third book in the series, which is also on my TBR, follows a different character in the series. The first 2 books follow the same girl, and I kind of need a refresher on Belladonna, but I kind of don't. We will see when I get to this series. I know everyone really likes them on audio. I loved the first one on audio, but it is a goal of mine to finish the series. I have a lot of mutual friends who love it as well, and I want to like it. I want to find a fantasy series that I love. Will it happen? I don't know. And speaking of cozy fantasy, but making it sapphic, this is another trilogy of books, I believe, by Rebecca Thorne. And this is the first one, which is called Can't Spell Treason Without T. This jumped out to me because, again, it's sapphic, but it also has like a fantasy element. I don't know any friends who have read this and have actually said what the book is about. So I really know nothing about it right now, but I do know that it's obviously on my TBR because, again, I want to read a sapphic fantasy that's like cozy and who knows? I don't know. It has really good reviews. I think the second book has the word pirates in the title, and I love pirate books. So I'm just excited. Again, I'm pretty sure this trilogy follows the same characters the entire time, which I really enjoy. I would love to get connected to another sapphic couple. If you know, you know, I love sapphic romance. This won't be the only one on this list, but this is the only fantasy one that I am going to mention today. Then let's just get the 2 books from this author out of the way right now. One of them I have a physical copy of. The other one I'll pop up on the screen because it's not out yet. But we have Julie Soto, and this one is First, Not Another Love Song. This is the second contemporary romance that she has released. The first one, Forget Me Not, I read and I really enjoyed. This one is about, I think she's a cello player, and I don't know if he's also a cello player. I just know that they're musicians. I know it's supposed to be really hot, really just like a lot of tension between them. I don't know if this is a second chance romance as well, like the first one, or if this one's more of like a rivals to lovers situation. I don't care. Understand if Julie Soto writes it, I will be reading it because I read her Hermione fan fiction, The Auction, and I loved it so much. I genuinely haven't been able to focus on anything else since I read it, and it was like one of the first things that I read in 2025. It's very important to me, and that is just going to roll into the next book that is on my TBR, which is Rose and Chains, which is her first book in this fantasy series, which is her rework of The Auction for traditional publishing. The fact that I don't have this book in my hands, I need to understand, like, it really keeps me on edge. I've never been more excited to read something in my entire life because I love The Auction so much. I need to know how she is going to rework it for this series. I mean, when I finished The Auction, I was like, this is going to shine as a traditionally published book. Like, I really saw the vision. I saw the potential. And I'm so, like, I really, as you can see, I can't. I just can't. So know that actually on this list, I think this is my number 1 most anticipated release for 2025. At the start of the year, I wouldn't have said that, but after finishing the actual thing that it's based on, 100%. No one wants to read this book more than me right now. Well, except, you know what? Maybe the other Hermione girls who have been doing it longer than me. We're all in a tie for who wants to read this more. But let's just say this is for the Auction girls. Okay, we are ready for this. I am ready. I can't. I'm done talking about it. I just like thinking about it makes me kind of want to throw up. Switching gears. Actually, it's very funny because I was talking to the author of this book while she was reading The Auction. We were giving each other reactions. This is the debut novel from Bailey Jane called Tied Together. And even though this is technically a holiday romance, I don't think it's very aggressively holiday. It's just about 2 coworkers who end up on, like, I think a work trip to Paris. It's forced proximity. I'm very excited. I love books that take place in Paris. As you can see, I happen to be in Paris. And I just love the vibe of the book. It's so cute. Bailey is so wonderful. I actually, like, from the few people that I've seen read it, because, again, she's a very, very small author right now, and I can't wait to see her shine in this new year. But from the people who I know who have read the book, they really enjoyed it. I know it's going to be very cute. I will say, I do know for a fact this is a closed-door romance. So if that's not for you, don't say I didn't warn you. I personally don't mind if a book has no spice or not. I'm just excited for the cute, cozy vibes, and again, to support my girl Bailey. So please put this book on your TBR if you like romance books, especially workplace romance, that Parisian setting. I know it's going to be really adorable. Another release that I actually just got from the publisher because I emailed them and they were so kind to send me a finished copy. This is Give Me Butterflies by Miss Jillian Meadows. I loved Wreck My Plans by her so much. It was a really great holiday romance. So I am like foaming at the mouth again to read this. I will say, I think I'm just going to wait for the audiobook to come out. Because I really loved Wreck My Plans on audio, so I think this on audio is going to be sensational as well. This one, I completely forgot what it was about. Don't tell me. Okay, it says she's a sunny entomologist. What is that? Is it someone who works with flowers? There's a lot of flowers on the book. He's a grumpy astronomer. Oh my god, that's so cute. They are a match written in the stars. If only they can stop being so logical. Okay, so I love that. Don't know anything else about this book. I completely forgot. She is doing a lot of excellent promo on her Instagram right now with like graphics and stuff to like get to know the characters. I just completely forgot what all of that said. Okay. Her books are the perfect mix of like Emotional, really great characters, but the spice is very good. Again, if it's going to be anything like book one, I think this book is going to be really hot. And she did also release the playlist for this book, and it was filled with like Taylor Swift, and it was just immaculate taste. So another reason why I am ready to get to this one. Another 2024 release that is very high priority on my 2025 TBR, we have Hexed by Emily McIntyre. I love this whole series. If you know, you know. These books are very important to me. Hooked is one of my favorite books of all time. These are obviously just retellings of, you know, fairy tales and like Disney stuff. This one being Little Mermaid inspired, which I love. I do have the audiobook of this on deck, which I'm very excited about. I mean, it's a little long. I feel like this book, I mean, this series, each release has kind of gotten longer and longer, which is okay. Every review that I've seen about this book, though, has been great, and I do love The Little Mermaid. I know this is going to be hot. I know it's going to be fun, and yeah, if it's an Emily book, I will be reading it. She announced her new series, which is like reimagining of like tragedies and like stuff. I think she means like Romeo and Juliet, let's say. And as a Romeo and Juliet enthusiast, I will be seated. I will, in fact, be seated in the chair. For a great example of a series that I started but never finished, we have this Nikki Sloan series. This is The Frat Boy. I really loved The Architect, The Pool Boy. What was the first one? The Doctor. I think they're so hot and fun, and they're kind of underrated for how good they are. And I feel like everyone really raves about this one, The Frat Boy. And I love the idea of like, you know, the college setting, but also they end up doing, I think, like adult films, let's say, and stuff like that, like for money. And I think they're roommates, and I love that setup. I really, really do. So I think this is going to be a win for me. And again, this is an example of a series that I really would love to finish in 2025. And the final physical book I have is actually a book that is going to be republished in 2025. I have the indie copy. This is Split or Swallow by Lindsay Straub. And let me tell you, I am so excited for this book. I need this book to be as crazy as the girlies are making it out to be. This is, I just know, what is it? What are they called? Balskins? Baliskin? When is when someone's like part snake? I can't remember the official terminology right now. Basically, it's that in like a smutty romance form. And apparently this book is like really smutty, really crazy, to the point when she was like, I can't even believe this was picked up for publishing, which I really love. I have a couple mutual friends who have read it and they had the best time with it. I'm excited. Hopefully it blows me away. It knocks my socks off. Normally the length of a book like this would intimidate me, but you know, after I read a 1,000-page plus Hermione fan fiction, I feel like I can read anything really. This is really the book that I cannot wait to see what has everyone gooped and gagged, okay? I need to know. I need to know the tea about this snake smut. This is a book where if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Okay, now we have reached the phone portion of this video, which means these are basically 99% of the books that I have on this list are books that are not out yet. So get excited. They are upcoming releases for 2025. And I have 15 of them that will complete the 25 that we will be talking about in this video. First up, we have Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. I tried to get an ARC of this book and I couldn't get NetGalley approval. Publisher never emailed me about a physical ARC or anything. I emailed them twice, which is fine. I will just read this book when it comes out. I will probably listen to it on audio anyway because I love Hannah's books on audio. This is about a couple who are on the rocks. I don't think they're divorced. I think they're just going through some trouble, a married couple, and then they find their way back to each other. Forced proximity, camping. I know a whole bunch of people who have read this already and they really loved it. They were really moved by it as well. Hannah does that very well in her books. So of course this is very high on my TBR. I love Hannah. Another author who you know I love, we have Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. I do have the digital ARC of this book and it is actually going to be the next thing that I read with my eyes. I am eyeball reading a book right now on my Kindle. As soon as I finish that, this is going to be the next book that I read. Final book in her Rebel Blue Ranch series. This is between Dusty and Cam. Cam is a single mom. I mean, we know that the father of her child is Gus from the previous book, Lost and Lassoed. I think it's a runaway bride situation. Again, a second chance romance. I am truly so excited. I'm sad for this series to end, but it's one of my all-time favorite series by one of my all-time favorite authors. So I am ready. Like, my body is ready for this book. Of course, how could I not be excited for Rewind It Back by Miss Elizabethan Tomforday, as I call her, or Liz Tomforday. This is the next book in her Wild and Windy series. Is that what it's called? Is it called the Wild and Windy series? The Windy City series. Oh my god, I'm thinking of Wild and Wrangle. I mean, if I was a betting woman, I would bet that this would be one of my top books of 2025, considering Play Along, the previous book by her, was my top book of 2024. So obviously I'm excited, okay? I'm pretty positive this is Rio's book, I think, who's a character in the series who I really love, and I just know it's going to be great. I don't even have to say anything else. Like, you know it's going to be good. I know it's going to be good. I'm very excited. I don't even need to say anything about, because again, you know it's going to be great. I know it's going to be great. We have Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. I mean, number one, audiobook has my favorite combo on it of Jason Clarke and Samantha Brentmore, and Jason Clarke voicing this grumpy fighter guy. Oh, match made in heaven. So I'm very excited for the audiobook. This one is, I'm pretty sure this is a Marriage of Convenience, right? I don't care. I'm so excited. My most anticipated release out of the whole series. Truly, like, I've been waiting for this book. I just am ready, okay? I really liked did I say this book was Wild Eyes? No, this book is called Wild Side. Wild Side, ignore me. Another book that is truly surprising that it's on this list, but if I didn't love Bride by Miss Ali Hazelwood so much, I don't know if Deep End would be on this list. But now, Deep End by Ali Hazelwood is a very anticipated release for me. Release, the ARC readers of this book, they have me very excited. A lot of them are like, oh my god, it's Allie's best book, it's Allie's best book. I mean, I don't know, we'll see. I'll believe it when I see it. I have a very hit or miss relationship with Allie and her books, but Bride was such a win. It was literally one of my top favorite books of last year, that I'm hopeful that this book will be just as good and blow me away. I really love that they're swimmers. I think that's a really hot concept. So we will see how it goes. This one is definitely the release that I'm most like, will I like it? Won't I like it? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But regardless, I am hyped. This is really bad journalism on my part, but Morgan Elizabeth's new book. I can't remember the title right now, but I'm very excited for this release because it's a fashion designer. The girl is a fashion designer. Also, from photos that I'm seeing, Morgan, is she a redhead? Confirm or deny? Confirm or deny. I love Morgan. She's obviously one of my favorite authors. Her books really get me. We See Each Other. Again, her release from last year, Passenger Princess. One of my favorite books of the year. No doubt this will be a favorite book. I love when she writes girly characters who are in fields that I really connect to. Like in 'Tis the Season for Revenge, the girl was a makeup artist. I'm a makeup artist. Girl works in fashion. I used to work in fashion. I wasn't a fashion designer, but I did work in fashion. I went to fashion school. Okay, I need this book. I need it. And I'm sure it's going to be great. I'm pretty sure this is also an age gap story, like most Morgan books are. Another example of a book that is part of a series that I already love, we have Deacon coming out by Rhea Morris Edwards. I have read Sovereign and Weston by her. These are dark, kinky cowboy romances, and I highly suggest you add them to your TBR. I did mention Sovereign in one of my top dark romance books videos because I think they're so good. They're so underrated. They're really hot. You can listen to them on audio as well if you like audiobooks. They have audiobooks. I can't remember when Deacon's releases, but regardless, I am excited. And Rhea also has a contemporary cowboy romance coming out in 2025, which I'm very excited for. And the cover has like a blue shoe and it's very like Cinderella cowboy vibes, but I don't think that's the exact story. It's just really cute. Go to her Instagram, go look at it. I'm excited for that release as well. If Rhea writes it, I will read it. And again, she's another example of an indie author who I really think needs to blow up in 2025 because her books are that good. They're that underrated. So again, if you like a dark cowboy book, little spicy time, definitely check out this series because I know I love them and I'm very excited for Deacon to come out. For a book that is freshly released from 2024, we have Five Brothers by Penelope Douglas. Yeah, if you know, you know. I love Tristix Venom by Penn, and that book comes before this book. It has a relation, you know, of characters that are coming over from that book to this book. So that is why this book is very anticipated for me. Okay. I mean, I do love a pen book anyway, and everything I know about this book makes it seem that I'm going to enjoy it. Am I really excited because I want to see my girls from Trisix Venom again? Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I have no doubt this book is going to be really fun. It's going to be really hot. It's a little bit on the long side, but so is Trisix Venom. So again, another book where I have the audio ready to go. I've heard the audiobook is great. I'm excited. Oh, for sure, it's definitely on my high priority for 2025. Another book that I have the physical copy of, I have the ARC somewhere hiding, but I couldn't find it right now. We have Dreamgirl Drama by Tessa Bailey, another author that you know, if Tessa Bailey writes it, I'm going to be reading it. I am uber excited for this one because this is her first go at like I feel like a really forbidden, kind of somewhat taboo topic because they are step siblings. Now, this book is connected to the Au Pair Affair and Fangirl Down. This book, you directly see these characters in the Au Pair Affair, and I feel like the way she set them up in that book got me so excited. I remember I saw Tessa at an event and I was like, Tessa, I need the step sibling book right now. I'm so excited. And very, very high on my TBR, so hopefully you get my thoughts on it soon. I just am so ready. I think this book is going to eat the fuck down. I really think it's going to. Again, Tessa can really do no wrong for me. I know some people feel a certain sort of way about her books. They either get them or they don't. She's one of my all-time favorite authors. And again, I'll read anything that she writes. I put in a NetGalley request for this book and it hasn't been approved yet. And it's been like a month or maybe even more than that, maybe 2 months, who the hell knows. But I do have Dream On by Ramona Riley, which is Ashley Herring Blake's newest sapphic romance, another author where I will read anything that she writes. I am very excited for this book. I think one of the girls also works in fashion. I don't know if it's something to do with like costumes. I feel like someone in this book worked in like the film industry. I remember when she dropped the blurb for it, I was so excited. So forgive me if I don't really remember everything about it right now. All I care about is that it's an Ashley Herring Blake sapphic romance. Her books are everything to me. I love them. If it's Ashley, it's going to be good, and it's also going to have, you know, a perfect amount of like steam and heart, and just like her characters are the best. I really love the way that she writes females and the way she portrays, you know, queer females in relationships with each other. As a queer woman, I really think that they are so well done, and you really need to check out her books if you haven't yet. I'm obsessed with them. And another fantasy book that is actually out already, we have Assistant to the Villain. And I feel like if you know me and my reading taste, this is a very like oddball choice to throw in here, but this is a fantasy series that I've had my eye on for a minute because everyone talks about how campy and how silly it is. And if you know me, I love a silly book. I love to read for the vibes. I love to read for the ha-has and just something that's, you know, very, very silly. I do think this is either going to be a book that I love or I hate. It's literally about a girl who works for this guy who is literally called the villain. It's fantasy. It's kind of like a medieval times setting, which I do love. I love that kind of setting in fantasy books. Like when you say a fantasy book, that is actually the exact setting that my mind goes to. I literally think of like medieval castle, dragons. Like that's what I like in a fantasy book. I just really love that aesthetic. And if this book can entertain me, who knows, maybe it'll be again a fantasy series that I end up really loving. Again, it's something that I'm like, I'll either really love it or I probably won't get it, but it's still on my TBR, and it has been since basically all of 2024. And then something that I'm just gonna quickly throw on this list, Hermione fan fiction. I have an abundance saved on my Kindle, so basically all of the ones that I have on my Kindle are on my TBR for the year. I have some big ones on there like Manacled, which I'm going to have to read in 2025 because the trad pub version of it comes out in 2025. And I'm definitely going to want to read to compare, you know, like with the auction. But I know that Manacled is so long again, and it's very like draining and it's very emotional, and I'm truly not in a rush to read it. As soon as I finish the auction, I had some people in my DMs like, you should read Manacled. Like, can I have a break? That is obviously for sure a priority because I read one, I'm obsessed, and until I read more, I will not be satisfied. Then for another upcoming release, we have Death Valley by Karina Halley. I love Karina and her books so much. She's another author where basically her entire backlist is on my TBR for 2025, but this new release that she has, which is basically The Walking Dead meets Dark Cowboys, I think is going to absolutely slap. One thing about Karina is she will just write in any genre that she wants, and she will write a very unique story, and I love that about her. She's so talented, like she really is. I love dark cowboys. I love like dark, gritty, like kind of like horror, spooky cowboys, and I think this is going to be great. It very much speaks to my aesthetic, speaks to the kind of media that I like, so I'm excited. I'm very, 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 very excited for this one. I have my eye on this release. I think it's going to be great. My final book that I'm going to talk about on my 2025 TBR is actually going to be Phantom by H.G. Carlton, because I wanted to put one more dark romance in here. I love H.G. Carlton and her books. I am behind because I didn't even get to Where's Molly yet, but I do have the audiobook, so I will be getting to that, and then I will for sure be getting the audiobook for Phantom. This is really intriguing to me because it's a period piece. It takes place in the 1940s. It is connected to the Haunting and Hunting Adeline world, but you know, this is about Addie's grandma, I believe. So again, I love that it's a period piece. Oh, it's a stalker, but again, that 1940s setting I think is so incredible. I love that vibe so much. I'm excited to see what H.G. Carlton does with it. I know the audiobook is going to be amazing. I'm pretty sure Teddy Hamilton is the narrator on it again. I am excited. This book is out now, but I will probably get to it maybe sometime in February. Who knows? February, March, I don't know, but it's definitely on the TBR. We will get to it eventually. I will read anything H.G. Carlton write. All right, everyone. So those were 25 books on my 2025 TBR. I hope you enjoyed this video. What books are you excited to read in the new year? I would love to know. Let me know down below. As always, all of my links to other socials like Instagram, Goodreads, TikTok, if TikTok is still around. Too soon? Too soon? Link down below. If you enjoy this video, please comment, like, subscribe, share. Please, it means the world to me. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!